Leo, here's the truth you've been feeling in your gut. A wealthy man is shifting your reality, and the universe is finally recognizing what you've been doing in silence. If that sentence makes your heart beat a little differently, then you already know. This video found you for a reason. Not because of luck or algorithms, but because something in your energy called this in quietly, without needing to shout. There is something bigger happening behind the scenes of your life right now. And today, we're going to talk about what that really means for you. You see, not all recognition arrives with fanfare. Sometimes, it comes in the form of an opportunity that seems too aligned to be random. A message that lands at the exact moment you were about to give up. Or a person someone established, respected, and resourceful who steps in as if on cue. That person is closer than you think. This isn't about being saved. It's about being seen. Leo, your energy has always been magnetic. But lately, you've been giving without the audience. Showing up without applause. Choosing patience, kindness, and integrity in rooms that didn't echo it back. That's not weakness. That's strength in its purest form. And now, the energy you've poured into others quietly, consistently is finally circling back. It's okay if you're not sure how to feel about that. When you've carried so much alone, the idea of someone else stepping in, even if it's spiritual support, a new mentor, or financial uplift, can feel strange. But just because you didn't ask, doesn't mean you don't deserve it. What's important now is recognizing that your frequency has shifted. The silent service you've given, the times you held your ground when it would have been easier to walk away, is not just a footnote in your story. It's the reason this moment is happening. A man of wealth is coming. Maybe not just in money, but in wisdom, in backing, in doors that open just when you needed them to. You won't need to chase or prove. This connection will feel like mutual recognition, not imbalance. You're not being relocated because you're lost, you're being positioned because you're ready. And make no mistake, Leo. This shift isn't loud. It's precise. It's divine. It's real. So before we go any further, take a second to check in with yourself. If your chest feels tight, or your heart feels open in a way you can't explain, that's your body confirming what your soul already knows. You are in the middle of a divine redirection. If this resonates with you, even a little, pause for a moment and type "I'm ready" in the comments. Not for me. For you. It's your way of signaling to the universe that you're not just watching passively, you're showing up for what's next. I want to take a quiet moment here to say thank you. Not just for watching, but for showing up as you are. Every comment you leave, every time you share this space with someone who might need it, every subscription, it helps us grow Eternal Mindfulness into more than a channel. It makes it a spiritual family. Your presence allows these messages to keep flowing to the people who are waking up to something bigger. And your support means more than you know. So stay with me until the end of this video. What the universe is revealing to you today isn't ordinary. It's sacred. And if you've made it this far, it's already unfolding. Let's explore what this shift means for your life and what your soul has quietly known all along. Leo, if you've ever wondered whether the quiet things you do matter, the moments you held your tongue when it burned to speak, the times you stayed kind when the world was cold, then what I'm about to share is for you. There's a kind of service that doesn't look impressive on the outside. No spotlight. No audience. No recognition. But it shifts things, deeply and invisibly. We call it silent service. And right now, that frequency is finally being felt in the right places. You know exactly what I mean. When everyone around you was caught up in noise, reaction, attention-seeking fear, you were steady. You didn't retreat out of fear. You stood firm out of principle. There's a power in that. Not loud power, but rooted power. The kind that echoes long after the moment is gone. And though it may have felt like no one noticed, the truth is energy doesn't need eyes to witness it. It just needs truth to anchor it. You've been living your truth quietly. You've been sowing light without expecting applause. And in doing so, Leo, you've become a beacon without even realizing it. Like a candle burning in a dark room, it doesn't beg to be seen, it just does what it was made to do. It gives light. Not to prove something. Not to perform. But because the light exists in its nature. That's you. That's what you've been doing. And now, finally, that vibration is reaching someone. Someone who has the resources, the wisdom, the authority to do something about it. From an energetic standpoint, every action you take carries a frequency. Not all actions vibrate the same. Some fade quickly because they were never rooted in sincerity. But the things you did from a place of love, real love, the kind that holds space for others without demanding something back, those things last. They form a kind of thread in the unseen, one that others who are aligned with that same vibration can feel. And one of those people is now being pulled into your story. It's not about repayment. It's not karma in the old-fashioned sense. It's deeper than that. This is resonance. Spiritual alignment. You gave from a pure place, and that frequency created a ripple. That ripple has now become a wave, and it's reaching someone who didn't even know they were looking for you, but they were. They're the one who's going to shift your external reality, not because you demanded it, but because your energy called for it. That's the difference between manifesting from the ego and manifesting from truth. One says, I want because I lack. The other says, I give because I am. And Leo, you've been giving. Quietly. Patiently. Faithfully. Even when it hurt. Even when it was lonely. That counts for something. More than you realize. It reminds me of the kind of faith that doesn't need to be seen to be strong. Like those who keep praying even when the answers don't come fast. Like those who show up, keep going, keep loving, not because they expect a prize, but because their soul knows no other way. That's the frequency you've been holding. And now it's drawing something rare into your life. So when this person appears, this wealthy man, this opportunity, this support, don't be surprised if it feels oddly familiar. You've met before, not in the physical world maybe, but in the spiritual dimension where energy recognizes energy. And don't dismiss the way it enters. It may not be dramatic. It may be simple. But the weight it carries? It will feel unmistakable. I want to ask you something real, and you can answer in the comments if it feels right. When was the last time you did something good, really good, and no one knew? When was the last time you gave something of yourself, fully and without expecting anything back? That moment. That's the seed. What's coming now? That's the fruit. If you're ready to receive that fruit, if you're open to the idea that maybe, just maybe, the universe was paying attention all along, say it below. Say, I remember the moment. Or say, I'm ready. Because sometimes, naming your readiness is the doorway to receiving the very thing you've been waiting for. When you've spent a long time doing the inner work, real inner work, you start to notice how the universe speaks in patterns. Sometimes it whispers through the shifting winds of circumstance, and other times, it moves boldly through astrological alignments that you can feel even before you read about them. Right now, Leo, that movement is happening through you and around you. And it's not just energized confirmation. You're stepping into a season where the stars are no longer asking you to prove your worth. They're reflecting it back to you. Let's talk about Venus. Currently, she's lighting up your second house, your zone of self-worth, value, and material stability. But this isn't just about money in the bank. This is about the kind of richness that starts from within and radiates outward. Venus in this position asks one question: do you truly believe you deserve more? Because it's not enough to wish for abundance if a part of you still doubts your value. This transit says, it's time to own your light. Not because you're trying to shine brighter than others, but because your light is part of the healing that others need. Now layer that with the Sun forming a strong connection to Pluto, and you have something powerful brewing. The Sun, your ruler, Leo, governs identity, life force, clarity. Pluto, on the other hand, digs deep. It doesn't play on the surface. It transforms. Together, they're inviting you into a shift where your power no longer comes from how loud you can be, but how aligned you are in silence. You're moving from expression to embodiment. From presence to impact. You don't have to take up space to prove you're meant to be here, you just have to take your place. If we let the tarot speak into this same energy, it gets even more precise. The Hierophant shows up as a quiet reminder that faith is a form of structure. Not blind belief, but a commitment to higher principles that hold you when everything else falls apart. You've been following that code, doing what's right even when no one noticed. And now, that energy is being honored. Not necessarily in ways that scream success, but in moments of stillness where you suddenly feel guided, supported, lifted. That's the Hierophant's wisdom in motion. The Six of Pentacles adds a layer of reciprocity. It tells the story of someone who's finally ready to give back to you, someone who has the means, the influence, or the authority to do so. This isn't about charity. This is about recognition. You've poured out from your cup, and now, without needing to ask, it's your turn to receive. What's being returned to you isn't random. It's harvest. And it comes from seeds you planted long before you even knew if they would grow. Then there's the Emperor. Strong. Clear. Intentional. This card speaks directly to the masculine force entering your orbit. A man of wealth, perhaps. Or a mentor. Or even a divine masculine energy within yourself that's ready to rise. Either way, it marks stability. Structure. Power that isn't performative, it's proven. And this figure, whoever he is or whatever he represents, is being led to you not because you chased him, but because the vibration you've held has called him in. What all of this means is simple but profound. You're in a cycle of return. Not in the sense of karma as punishment, but as balance. You've done the inner work. You've held the line. You've stayed aligned when it would have been easier to fold. And now, the cosmic landscape is shifting to reflect that back to you. This isn't a reward because you demanded it, it's a response because you lived it. So if things start to feel lighter, if new people show up unexpectedly, if you sense that a door is about to open, it's not your imagination. It's not too good to be true. It's the echo of your own integrity finally finding its way back to you. And if this resonates, if even one part of this mirrors where you are, take a breath and say it out loud. I'm open to receive what is already mine. Or better yet, drop it in the comments. Not as a ritual. As a signal. You're not invisible. Your timeline is shifting. And this season belongs to you. There's a moment, quiet but unmistakable, when the energy you've been sending out finally reaches its destination. You may not have seen the ripple form, but it's moving, and it's carrying your frequency straight to someone who can meet you where you are. This is what's happening now, Leo. A man of wealth is on his way into your story. Not necessarily because you asked for help, but because your energy called him in without words. He may show up as a real person, a mentor, a partner, a business figure, someone with the resources to open a door you couldn't reach before. But sometimes, wealth doesn't wear a suit or speak in numbers. Sometimes, it's an energy stabilizing force. The kind of presence that shifts the atmosphere just by entering the room. That's what's being drawn to you now. And it's not because of how loud you are or how hard you've tried. It's because of how consistent you've been. How you've chosen integrity, even when no one was watching. How you've stayed in alignment even when no one clapped. That's what resonance feels like. And according to the law of attraction, like attracts like, not in thought alone, but in frequency. People who are grounded, generous, and abundant don't respond to desperation. They respond to clarity. And you, Leo, have been vibrating with a quiet kind of clarity that only those attuned to real substance can feel. It's not always visible on the surface, but it speaks through everything you touch: your choices, your stillness, your refusal to compromise your values just to be seen. Wealth, in its truest form, is never just financial. It's alignment. It's the internal certainty that you are enough, that you've done enough, that you're not lacking anything, only waiting for the pieces to match your energy. That's what this man, or this energy, is responding to. He's not showing up to complete you. He's being drawn in because you've already become whole. What you're seeing now is the natural consequence of being energetically ready. Think of yourself like a song that's been quietly playing in the background of the universe for years. You've been humming that melody: truth, patience, strength, and now someone finally hears it and says, "That's the one." They pick up the note, follow the sound, and suddenly, they're standing at your door. That's the moment we're entering. And here's where numerology confirms what you already feel: the number 777. It's not just an angel number, it's a signal of divine timing, a spiritual checkpoint that says, you've reached the threshold. It represents completion, alignment, and a cosmic green light. If you've seen this number lately in receipts, clocks, license plates, it's not coincidence. It's the universe tapping you on the shoulder, reminding you that you're not just hoping anymore. You're receiving. So I'll ask you gently, have you noticed this? Have the signs been showing up in strange little ways? And more importantly, have you let yourself believe they're real? If so, I'd love for you to write it in the comments. Not just for the algorithm. For your own affirmation. Something as simple as, "I've seen 777" or "I feel the shift" is enough to anchor you deeper into this transition. Because the truth is, what's arriving isn't an accident. It's a match. And you didn't manifest it by forcing or chasing. You manifested it by becoming. And now, Leo, the wealth that's coming isn't here to fix you, it's here to meet you. Fully. Quietly. Powerfully. Just like the way you've been showing up for your own life all along. There comes a point in every soul's journey where the space that once felt like home starts to feel tight. Not wrong. Just small. And Leo, that's exactly where you are now. You've outgrown a version of yourself that once protected you, held you, even comforted you. But growth, by its very nature, asks us to step beyond the familiar, not because we're being reckless, but because we're being reshaped. You've spent years honoring what's stable. You stayed loyal to what felt safe. And let's be honest, that's not a bad thing. Loyalty is sacred. But sometimes, what once supported you can become the very thing that holds you back, not because it's broken, but because you've evolved. You're not who you were. And trying to fit back into that old rhythm now feels like wearing clothes 2 sizes too small. It's uncomfortable, not because it's wrong but because you've expanded beyond it. There's a subtle difference between running away and rising. What's happening to you right now isn't some impulsive shift. It's the result of deep, internal work. Your energy has matured. Your vision has stretched wider. You're feeling the tension not because you're lost, but because your soul is pointing you toward what's next. And if you're wondering why the people or situations around you are reacting differently, this is why. When your vibration shifts, your environment notices. Not always in words, but in behavior, in patterns, in opportunities that no longer hold the same weight. That's not rejection. That's revelation. It's the universe showing you that you've become someone new and the world around you is responding accordingly. I want you to picture something with me. Imagine a lion, once a cub who has grown into the fullness of their strength. Now imagine that lion still trying to rest inside the same small den it was born in. The den didn't change. But the lion did. That's you. You've reached the edges of a life that once fit, and now it's time to step out, not because it's easy, but because your energy is ready for more room to move. And I get it. Change is hard. Even when it's good. Especially when it's earned. There's a strange grief in letting go of the places or roles that shaped us. But that grief is a doorway, not a wall. It doesn't ask you to throw everything away. It asks you to carry the wisdom forward and release the weight. You're not abandoning your old self, you're honoring it by choosing to evolve. That takes courage. It takes softness. It takes trust. And you have all of that, whether you feel it fully today or not. You don't have to be fearless to move forward. You just have to be willing. So here's a small, powerful step you can take right now. Write this sentence down somewhere you can see it. I deserve to be seen for the truth of who I am. Not the version of you that stayed quiet to be accepted. Not the version that dimmed your light to avoid being too much. But the version that's emerging now, brighter, clearer, more grounded. If you feel any resistance as you write that, that's okay. Growth rarely comes without a little friction. But even that resistance is a sign that your spirit is waking up to its own potential. You are not being pushed out. You are being called up. And Leo, this next space you're stepping into, it was built for your bigness. Not ego-driven. Soul-aligned. Take a breath. Feel that? That's the edge of your new beginning. The light you carry isn't random. It's needed. And the world won't fully open until you decide to stop shrinking in spaces you've outgrown. Transformation doesn't always come from grand gestures or life-changing leaps. Sometimes, the deepest shifts begin in the most ordinary moments, the way you rearrange your space, the breath you choose to take before reacting, or the decision to treat your body like it's preparing for something sacred. Leo, at this point in your journey, what's needed is not more effort, it's alignment. And alignment begins in small, intentional actions that speak louder than any external declaration. When you've outgrown a version of yourself, the energy around you needs to catch up. One of the most grounding ways to support that process is through your environment. If your space feels stagnant, cluttered, or disconnected from who you are becoming, then your energy can't fully move forward. Something as simple as clearing one corner of your home, or placing a meaningful object near your entrance like a stone, a coin, or a token that represents your next chapter can open up energetic flow. You're not just tidying, you're sending a message to the universe. I'm clearing room for what's next. There's a reason rituals have lasted through every culture and time period. They remind us that sacredness lives in repetition. If you've been giving quietly through support, kindness, presence without keeping score, now is a good time to honor that part of you. Write down 3 things you gave recently without expectation. You don't have to share them. This isn't about proving anything. It's about letting your soul see itself clearly. Acknowledging those acts is how you recognize your spiritual harvest even before it arrives. On a physical level, your body is your first field of energy. You can't build something new if your system is overloaded, underrested, or ignored. A simple 3-day cleanse, nothing extreme, just more water, more rest, light meals, and slower breathing can recalibrate your field. This isn't about punishing the body, it's about creating a soft space where your inner wisdom can rise without noise. Because clarity doesn't shout, it comes when the channel is clean. Health-wise, try dialing back on processed foods and slowly integrating what I call solar foods, things that carry the energy of sunlight and warmth. Golden fruits, leafy greens, clean proteins. These support Leo's natural fire without overwhelming it. Your system doesn't need more fuel, it needs better fuel. Financially, you're being invited to take a closer look at not just where your money goes, but what it energetically supports. Before lending money or investing time, pause and ask, does this align with my joy or with my guilt? It's a small question with a massive impact. Money, after all, carries frequency. When you spend or save from a place of trust, it multiplies. When you do it from fear, it drains you even when the numbers look fine. Emotionally, this is a season to stop performing love and start receiving it as you are. If you've been trying to prove your worth in relationships, it's time to let that go. You don't need to audition to be loved. You were born radiant. The right people, the ones who see your quiet work and inner light, will never ask you to shrink to fit their comfort. Real love expands with you. And professionally, if your work life feels heavy, repetitive, or like it's keeping you small, sit with this question. Am I still here because I'm growing, or because I'm afraid to let go? There's no shame in stability. But there is power in truth. You deserve a role, a path, a mission that matches the energy you're now holding, not the version of you that once settled just to stay safe. These actions, though simple, are not random. They're energetic signals. When you shift internally and follow through externally, the universe has no choice but to respond. That's how you co-create your next chapter, not by force, but by frequency. So if any part of this resonates, write it down. Pick one thing you'll change today, no matter how small. Share it in the comments if you want to anchor it. Because the energy of commitment moves faster when it's witnessed, even digitally. Leo, you've done the deep emotional work. Now it's time to let your outer world reflect that. Not all at once, but one quiet action at a time. That's where the transformation lives. And it's already begun. You've been walking through life carrying more than just your responsibility. You've been carrying silent acts of love, quiet sacrifices no one saw, and dreams you kept safe in the shadows of your heart. And now, the energy is shifting. This isn't a random stroke of luck. This is alignment. The arrival of a wealthy man, or perhaps a powerful opportunity, is not meant to complete you but to mirror the light you've been carrying all along. You are not being chosen because you're suddenly worthy. You're being acknowledged because your worth never left. For years, you've been giving, healing, praying, serving in silence. While others shouted their worth, you planted yours deeply in the soil of faith and quiet effort. And now, that seed has sprouted. The universe is not late. It's right on time. The blessings you are seeing today are the echoes of who you were when no one was watching. So let's be real. You don't need a lottery win to feel abundant. You don't need someone to validate your path. You've already earned your light. But sometimes, the divine likes to send confirmation in ways we can touch and hold. A miracle payment. A relocation. A soulmate with a heart of gold. A moment where your entire reality shifts because finally it's your season. But here's the thing, this is not just about what's coming to you. It's about what's waking up within you. The power. The permission. The peace. And above all, the choice. You get to decide right now if you're going to keep hiding behind excuses, or if you'll step boldly into the chapter that was always meant for you. So let me ask you gently but clearly, are you ready to stop waiting and start receiving? Are you willing to believe that your small acts of faith are now returning to you as large waves of favor? Are you done dimming your light to make others comfortable, and finally ready to shine in a way that blesses not just you but everyone who witnesses your rise? If something in your soul stirred while you watched this video, don't let it fade. Anchor it. Declare it. Write in the comments right now, I am ready, or simply 777, if you feel the vibration of completion, of divine alignment. Let this be your energetic handshake with destiny. Like this video to amplify your intention. Share it with someone you love, and subscribe to Eternal Mindfulness, because each week, I'm here with your soul's map, your cosmic update, your gentle reminder that you are not behind. You are just on divine timing. You are not waiting for a miracle. You are the one creating it. Quietly. Boldly. Faithfully. And now, finally, visibly.